Hello, this is Before R, and this finally is a page of KTM with the 2025 KTM 390 Adventure R. We've been waiting for this. We knew it would come out today, a long time now, so it's finally out. I thought it would be out earlier today, but it wasn't. Anyway, let's go down and see what we're going to see about this amazing bike that's made in India. So before we continue, we've seen some prices of the other models, the Enduro and the Cfmoto, and the price is I think 5,500 euros for the 125 version and 6,500 for the 390 version. I'm guessing this will be about 1,000 euros more expensive on each version. I don't think we've got a price yet. I might look. Later in this video. So we have to say the KTM 390 Adventure blah 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 230 millimeters of suspension, okay, adjustable, and here we see some photos of it. It's the same model we've seen, the tank's the same. I don't see any differences from what we've seen already. I don't know if this is the R version. Yeah, it's Adventure R. So this is the more expensive one, the more capable one, and there will be a more simple one. Let's see the rest here on road. Let's see if they've got the other one first. So they only have the R version. Let me look at the page. So it seems they only got the R and not the dumbed down version, and no 125. No, they've got it on the travel page. So if you go to the travel page, it's here, the Adventure X. That's what it's interesting to see the specs of, because 1719 it'll be cheaper than the other one. And there is no 125 version for this. So Adventure X, let's start with the dumbed down one, or the more cheap one, the more road oriented one. Let's have a look at it. We haven't seen this one before. The other one we saw at the ICMA. Big difference in the looks, I think, is it's a bit more black here, and different wheels. It doesn't have the gold thing, the orange frame here. It looks decent though. There's an orange version here. Okay, cool. The R version only seems to be in the white color, so if you don't like the white color, maybe we'll use some decals or something to cover the colors and keep the plastics new. So here are the specs of the suspension. So it's 205 millimeters, and it doesn't say adjustable. Not only that, but so it means the real one. It's adjustable and not the front one. I don't know. It's got some types of ABS. So we know that the R version will have cruise control. Will this one have it too? Let's see. I do prefer the orange one than the white one, I'll tell you the truth. Here we see them. Yeah, orange one for me. It's got some crappy connectivity thingies if you like these things. So there will be different seats that you pay extra for. We see here this thingy here, the gear shifter, is a foldy, and this one's foldy, but this one isn't the brake. So here are the specs. 165 kilos, very nice. Ah, without fuel. 14 liters. So 0.74, which is the gasoline weight, multiplied with the 14 liters. So the bike will weigh full 175.5 kilos. So I'm going to type it here for those who don't understand English. Okay. The wheelbase is big. And do we have side photos? Yeah, we've got some side photos, so I'm gonna make a comparison in this video, so stay. What else do we have? The torque, power. Don't forget, this is a single cylinder, unlike the twin cylinder that we have in the Cfmoto 450 MT. There might be an update coming for the 450 MT. There was some patent of an improved 450 engine. So 200 in the rear, 200 in the front, suspension travel. Front rear 190 and 130/80. I haven't done these videos for a while, so I've forgotten if this is beefy or not. So power parts 2025 3. I don't know if this is the bike. I do not see any special parts for this. Anyway, it's got them here, so let's just press this. No, press this. Okay. Not much here. Yeah, okay. Fuel consumption 3.4. It's typical for that kind of engine and that size. It's probably a bit more, depending on how you drive it. So let's go to the R version specs. The wheelbase should be a bit bigger because there's more suspension travel. Let's see. 1464, 1000, yeah. 2 centimeters bigger. Weight is less, 165. It's exactly the same. Tank is the same. Let's read about the. So here it says on the rear. So I guess the other version, the X, will be only the rear, because it doesn't say anything about front adjustability. Let's open the image new page. We see here the fuel tank is not like the bigger KTM's, low. Earth to the ground, and there is no mentioning about the cruise control that we saw at the EICMA, or at least I can't find it. Anyway, here we see the R and here the X, and we are going to. Does the R have a thicker frame, or is it an illusion? It's probably an illusion. This is a cool image, you can see lots of stuff. Different tires. Different pattern on the tires. And we don't see an adjustable thingy here. here we see something red. So have that in mind if you compare it to a bike, a similar bike at 500cc or something like that. So an hour later, and just a second for you viewers, I've got the new bikes here. I've made them fit on this comparison thingy. There's a ruler down here. I measure the wheelbase. So this one is 1464 and the other one is 1481. The steering wheel is kind of turned, so I make it slightly bigger or small, I don't remember now. Yeah, so 1 second, I'm confused. I make it a bit smaller because in reality this would come this way a bit, slightly smaller. So we're gonna start with B4R. We're gonna put B4R on top of it, on the foot peg, and he fits very well. The bike looks small because it's got small wheels. We can fix that by putting the R version, again putting me on the foot peg, and it looks a bit better for my size, although it's still a skinny bike. But I think taller people look better on bikes, tall bikes, long bikes, not tall, long bikes with big wheels. Here's a closer look. Okay, so now let's compare it with the bike you want to see, which is the 450. Let's bring the R version, which is closer in specs. Let's remove Mr. B4R. I must say that B4R actually fits on this bike because there's nothing, or at least it seems like he will fit. There's nothing here to annoy his feet, so he will be very comfortable on this bike. Unlike the 450MT that we are going to see now, it's got a stupid tank and tall people don't fit on it. If I remove the KTM, let me do something here, 1 second. Give me a second. Now you see B4R on the 450MT, he hits his leg on this stupid tank. Okay, let me remove it. In case you haven't seen my older videos, tall people have trouble on this bike because of this design here. So buying the KTM, if you've got the money, can be a solution for this problem. Now let's compare the bikes. Does the 450MT have a longer wheelbase? Also, look at the wheelbase, the fork. The KTM, although it's got a long wheelbase, it's got a teeth fork. The wheelbase, the center of the wheel, is further front than the fork here, and here on the Cfmoto seems to be a more straight thing. So if they had the same wheelbase, the MT would be a bigger bike. So let me see the wheelbase of the MT is 1505, so that's 25, almost 2.5 centimeters, and keep in mind that it's using the seat, so the MT will be a longer bike somehow. Okay, so it's longer, much longer than the KTM. What does that matter? it makes it slower to turn. That's what it matters, and more stable. So longer, more stable, and slow to turn. From what I've seen people say, I am no expert. So next thing we are going to compare is we are going to put the foot pegs at the same position. We can already see that the KTM has a higher clearance, ground clearance, than the 450MT, but they're both pretty high, so it doesn't really matter. Unless you have to ride over that specific rock, you know, and it doesn't fit. So I'm gonna place foot pegs same position. They are pretty much at the same position already. So foot pegs are at the same position, you can see here. And now we can see the seat height. So the seat height, or the distance from the foot peg to the seat on the KTM 390 is higher, much higher than the 450MT. So be closer to the high seat of the 450MT if you had to bend your knees a lot. Handlebars, almost exact position, exactly the same. Okay, so standing up will be very similar on these bikes, on the foot pegs. Now, screen coverage. Once again, we can see, compare the foot peg of the passenger, and it seems to be lower down. This is one here, this one here, and the seat is a bit higher, the foot peg is a bit lower, so again the passenger will be more comfortable, less bent knees on the 390 KTM. And now let's compare the sitting position. So we put the seats on the same height, kind of. Maybe I have to lower this a bit. Okay, kind of there somewhere, okay. So we see the curve is at the same place now. So you pretty much be sitting the same position. The foot peg will feel a bit more back on the KTM. Handlebars will be lower and closer to you. Wind protection is higher but closer again, so it will be very similar on the two. I don't know how much you can adjust this. Let's have a look. I can't see how you adjust that. I don't think you can adjust it. I don't see something very obvious to adjust it, so you get what you get. I think the 450MT you can adjust it. So that gives you an idea of these bikes. The 450MT will look slightly bigger. The cockpit of your legs will be much better on the the KTM. Will be more comfortable on the KTM, but your hands will be slightly lower. So I think the cockpit, generally, considering that this doesn't have the stupid extruding part here of the tank, the cockpit will be much better for tall people. Starting seat height will be a bit higher, so it might be bad for shorter people, might not be comfortable, but they might be much better on the other version, which will be much lower. And as you can see here, if you are short and you are frightened of tall bikes, because of the KTM having a version with smaller wheels and a much lower seat, as you can see here, you'll be more happy on that, maybe, if you're frightened. So some women prefer lower bikes, so maybe they would prefer that, although the 450MT is quite low anyway. So what I want to compare now and finish this video is the Honda NX 500. The Woodzy 525, which will be replaced by the 625 sometime, I don't know when. And the X version, the cheaper version of the KTM 390. But that will be another video. I'm B4R, thanks for watching, bye!